Earth's first real space pioneer was a dog, a Russian husky called Laika. The Russians sent Sputnik II into orbit round the world with Laika as passenger. Months of training, sometimes with a companion, prepared Laika for her lonely journey.
She was a very patient dog, very affectionate. She was easy to train. She was considered very clever. She had very expressive dark eyes. And my father wanted to take her away from the official environment of the lab and brought her home to run around with us and play. In 1957, I was 9 and my father was in charge of the Soviet medical program to send animals into space. I remember that very often a car would arrive from my father's lab. It would signal, beep, beep, the door would open and a crowd of dogs would tumble out of it. They were full of life. They would run to us, start licking us. And then a command was given. They were well trained. They went back to the car and were driven back to the labs. All dogs that were launched into space had to weigh not more than 6 or 7 kilograms. They were all stray dogs. They had stamina and were undemanding. They were naturally selected by their life on the streets. In order to study Laika's blood pressure and monitor her pulse during the flight, my father pulled her main artery close to the surface of her skin. A transmitter was then attached to the artery. More transmitters were attached to her ribs and neck.
Laika's elliptical orbit varies from 100 to 1,000 miles above the Earth's surface, where observatories listen eagerly for the coded radio signals which tell the space scientists how Laika is standing up to her lonely journey. Without knowing it, Laika is telling man whether, in the years to come, it will be safe for him to follow her.
It was the 40th anniversary of the revolution in 1957, and they needed to make a push before the festivities. That's why not everything could be thought through in this flight preparation. Khrushchev was the Soviet Communist Party leader then, and he needed to show Americans who was first. Everyone was very concerned for Laika. They knew that she would not return from her journey. Scientists then did not know how to return living creatures from orbit back to Earth. After 10 hours, she died because of the very high temperature in her capsule. The system of thermal insulation of her capsule had not been properly developed. In memory of this remarkable flight, special stamps and envelopes were produced with Laika's image. There were also special cigarettes and matches in the USSR called Laika. The monument was unveiled in Moscow in 2008. Laika's flight showed that you can survive weightlessness, and the door was opened for man's travel into space.